That is it. That is how much longer you have to wait until college football is back. Only 7 more days until the season kicks off. And you know what? There has been a lot of craziness that has happened. I hate to use this term, but there's been a lot of craziness that's happened this past offseason, especially in the conference realignment field. We're going to be breaking out an old friend that you see right back there to help me show conference realignment entering 2024 and looking at it beyond 2024 and kind of the fate of 4 very specific teams that I know a lot of people are curious to see what happens with them. What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. The support, the growth, the love for the channel has increased and just been out there so much these past couple of months, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I want to continue to see that growth during the season, if at all possible. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, do anything you can to help support the channel, because whatever you guys are able to do means a lot to me. It really, really does. So thank you guys so much for all the support and growth that the channel has seen these past couple of months. But if you want to hear my thoughts during the season, stick around on the channel. I'm going to be posting a lot of content for you guys out there to watch. So I made a community post updating you about how that was all going to look. I encourage you to go look at that if you guys are curious on what things are going to look like during the college football season. College football is only 1 week away, but we got to talk about something that I wanted to kind of wrap up prediction season first before we talked about, because it is an ever-changing aspect, and knowing my dumb luck, something is going to come out as soon as this video goes live. But let's break out an old friend. Those of you that have been on my channel before have seen the whiteboard. He's right back here. Let's break him out. Hiya, buddy. How we doing? Oh, he's just doing swell. He is doing swell. We got all the magnets on here. I apologize for the glare. I'm going to try to get rid of it and deal with it the best I can. But what you see on my magnet whiteboard here is these are the conferences for the FBS level of college football as of right now entering 2024. Not 2023. It's looking a lot different in 2023. A lot of the schools in the Pac-12 are still there, but these are your conferences entering 2024. Keep that in mind. This is not for this year. This is for next year, the upcoming college football season. And while conference realignment has really been centered around one conference as of late, and that is with these lonely 4 teams right here, and in its entirety in the Pac-12 conference. The Pac-12 has been the one conference that has really been looked at with conference realignment as of late, and for really good, as of late, I should say, and for really good reason as of well. It all started when UCLA and USC decided that they were going to go join the Big Ten. That happened last summer, and then it got a lot of people thinking, got a lot of people upset, and it got a lot of people thinking, okay, what's going to happen to the rest of the Pac-12? Because we immediately after that happened, started hearing things like Colorado's going to be going back to the Big 12, which, wouldn't you know it, this summer ended up happening. Colorado will be a member of the Big 12 in 2024. Then we started to hear things like, oh, well, you know what? Oregon and Washington are now talking to the Big 10. Guess what? Oregon, Washington, there they are. They will be members of the Big 10 in 2024. We even saw some other teams move. Arizona State and Arizona and Utah are now off to the Big 12 to join Colorado as well. And of course, you had the redoing of the American Athletic, adding a lot of teams there. Conference USA looks a lot different. They will be adding Kennesaw State in 2024. Of course, you have Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC, and all of that we have known for quite some time. But again, the big story was the Pac-12 and the 8 teams that you see in new conferences up here. That has been the big story this summer in college football, which leads us to these lonely 4 teams that you see down here. Not these ones. These are your FBS independents. They are doing just fine right now. No, it is these 4 schools right here that has been the problem area, right? It's California, Oregon State, Stanford, and Washington State. I don't know why I said problem area, but it's the focus area as of right now. Everyone is trying to deduce and predict and figure out what is going to happen to these 4 teams right down here. Well, I'm going to go through and give you guys a little sampling of just some of the things that have been talked about as of right now. So, first thing is first, and the first rumor that immediately came out, because in a lot of people's eyes it makes the most sense, is that these 4 teams, we're going to be moving them slowly, are going to be joining the Mountain West Conference, or vice versa, right? Is that these 4 teams will be part of the Mountain West Conference. or the Mountain West Conference will be part of the Pac-12 conference. But either way, the first thing that came out, apologies if magnets are uneven or anything like that, I'm doing this on the fly. I don't know, that looks pretty good, don't you think? Is that those 4 teams will be joining forces with the current 12 teams that you see in the Mountain West to form another mega 16-team conference. And while that definitely could be a very viable option, it definitely has its hindrances to it. If they want to go under the name of the Pac-12 conference, sadly, the Pac-12 can't really add anyone from the Mountain West. The Mountain West has made it extremely difficult for schools to buy out of that media rights contract with the Mountain West that runs through 2025. So that could definitely be something that is plausible if it goes under the Mountain West name, because again, these 4 schools with the Pac-12 media rights deal not really looking like it's going anywhere, could definitely go up and join the Mountain West Conference. So you could see that happen as well. But what has been rumored as of late, and what really has captured my eye, is that the 4 teams go up here. Hang on, give me a minute. Got to place all the magnets. But it's that those 4 teams, California, Oregon State, Stanford, and Washington State, will be new members of the American Athletic in a huge conference merger. Again, the American Athletic just added a lot of teams from Conference USA to join them in 2023, while 3 of their bigger members, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF, joined the Big 12. This would be a big thing, not only for those 4 teams, but for the American Athletic Conference as well. It'd be kind of like a semi-power conference, and you do have some big brand names in there. Anyway, UTSA has really emerged onto the scene as of late. Tulane was a phenomenal football team last year. SMU, Memphis have been teams that have tried to vie for spots in a power conference before, and now maybe will be part of like a semi-power conference if this move does end up happening. So those are sort of the things that have been talked about. Now, I'm going to move the magnets back down. We'll just move them over here for right now to make things easy. I'm not going to really bother in what order they go in. But actually, yeah, I am. It's going to bother me if they're not in the order that I put them in before. So, now, the other thing that you have to realize about these 4 teams is they also could technically compete as FBS independents, although I see that as being really complicated for all 4 of them, and then you'd have to go out and get your own media rights contracts. That's kind of what Notre Dame has done with NBC. They have that media rights contract with NBC, much like what the Big Ten has now and everything like that. So that seems complicated, but is still a viable option for all these 4 teams to be able to do. So honestly, it's really up in the air. If they want to all go join the Mountain West, great, that's fantastic. If they all want to go join the American Athletic, that's fantastic. But it could happen the other way around as well. Rumor has it that there are about 4 to 5 teams in the American Athletic. If I had to give a guess, it would be teams like SMU, it'd be teams like Memphis, and others that have already filled out paperwork to go join the Pac-12, to go join these teams and not have these teams join them, even though it's kind of like the same thing, but technically that's the way that it works, right? So really all the focus is on where do these 4 teams go, and honestly, that's up for debate. That is well and big up for debate. Who knows where these 4 teams are going to end up, right? Like, they could easily go join the Mountain West. They could go join the American Athletic. Heck, there are even talks that maybe Stanford and Cal might end up go joining the Big Ten. Now, I do want to put those things aside because the Big 12 just denied UConn and Gonzaga, or I guess not denied, but the talks didn't really go anywhere. The talk was that Gonzaga and UConn were now going to be parts of the Big 12 conference, and the Big 12 commissioner came out not too long ago and said, yeah, that's not happening. It just didn't really work out. The Big 10, with 18 teams, has said that now they are pretty much done. And again, they said that as soon as UCLA and USC joined in as well, but look at what happened. They added Oregon and Washington. I'm just telling you what I've heard, what I've read, what I've had told to me, things like that. So the Big 12 conference seems done as of right now. The Big 10 seems done as of right now. And the SEC seems done as of right now. So really your only option for these 4 teams right here is to, hey, maybe split off your separate ways. Maybe a couple of them go to the American Athletic. Maybe one goes to the Mountain West Conference over here. Heck, maybe one goes and joins the Sun Belt Conference. I really have no idea. But the fact of the matter is all four of these teams are independent right now. Not necessarily independent in terms of like, oh, they're like Notre Dame. They're an independent. They are going to do what is best for them. The big talks that have been going on right now are mergers, right? With these four teams simultaneously moving to, and it sounds like you really got two options if that is going to be the case. It's going to be the American Athletic and it is going to be the Mountain West Conference. That's really the two options you have if you want a merger kind of thing to happen. That at least is the way that I see it. Again, just updating you guys on what has happened. But honestly, looking at this college football landscape, knowing that there is still a lot that could change, again, especially with these four teams that you see right here, but there's a lot more that could change. Who knows? Maybe the Mid-American Conference is going to fall apart next. Now, while that is extremely, extremely unlikely, who knows, man? Conference realignment has been crazy unpredictable, although I will say that it has been more predictable as of late. I think once Texas and Oklahoma left to the SEC, once USC and UCLA left to go to the Big Ten, I think a lot of people started to figure, okay, so now Oregon and Washington are going to follow. Colorado and these teams are going to end up joining to the Big 12, and it did happen to play out that way. But that is one big story that is going on with the Pac-12 conference, and to see what those four teams do. That definitely, in my opinion, is the biggest story. However, there is another story that I do want to talk about really, really briefly, and then it involves this conference that my hand is over right now. That's right, the ACC may be looking like it's the next power conference to fall apart if it happens that way now. The big thing to realize with the ACC is with the Seminole logo right here with Florida State. And honestly, they've been kind of talking a lot of crap. There was a quote that came out that said, it's not a matter of when or how we leave. It's not a matter of how we leave the ACC. It's a matter of when we leave the ACC, or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure that there was the word if in there. It doesn't matter if we leave the ACC. It matters when or how, or something like that. I think you guys know what I'm trying to push across, but I'm not really able to formulate that thought right now. Anyways, it looks like Florida State, Clemson could be some teams that vie their way out of the ACC. Miami, the only thing that makes it tricky with the ACC is ESPN basically has this conference by the throat. Have you seen that media rights deal? Yeah, it runs through 2036. So the buyout of that contract, to have to buy it out in 2023 or 2024, is going to be monumental. So who knows what teams in the ACC are going to be doing in terms of trying to get out of that. It is a very bad TV contract deal for these schools. That is well-known, common knowledge. But trying to move out of this conference probably is not going to be the easiest thing to do. Although I'm sure there are some schools that may be trying to look at other options there. But yeah, that's kind of all I got for you guys as far as what I know. I just kind of wanted to recap, give my thoughts, and update all you fine people on what is going to happen. If I had to give a prediction, it seems really likely that these four teams are going to end up merging with the American Athletic Conference. It's been put into motion, or I shouldn't say those four teams will join. In some way, schools from this group of four and this group of 14 will be coming together in some sort. That's just the kind of way that I see it right now. Maybe it's only four teams like SMU, Memphis, Rice, USF, whatever schools you want to throw out there. A combination of these 4, 5, maybe 6 may go join and create the Pac-10 again. But anyway, I see it. These schools, first off, will probably end up joining these schools in some form or fashion. And then if that doesn't work out, hey, maybe they reach out to the Mountain West and say, look, we really have, not really, we have no other choice, but we'd like to do business with you. Go ahead and go forth with that. So there's kind of my recap on conference realignment. And we're going to put the whiteboard down for a minute center myself here, because I really do have some thoughts about this. Now, I know that people have been getting upset about the conference realignment thing. Tradition is out the window. Geography is out the window. College football is done. I'll stick to watching the game on Sunday. This whole thing is going down the drain. And I'm going to politely disagree with all those people. I am not going to sit here and invalidate your feelings, however. I understand These are things that the people for a long time have known, like Oregon State might not be such of a rivalry anymore. Washington State, that's probably not going to be such a rivalry anymore either, given the way that the landscape of college football is playing out. So I hear all of you, and you have reasons to be upset, but I am here to stake claim and kind of cut out the belief that college football is going downhill. That is just not the case at all. College football is going to look very, very different. Yes, that is true. But college football is going to be fine. It's not going to go anywhere. And even though we may be heading towards a world in which we have two power conferences, kind of like the AFC and the NFC in the NFL, college football is going to be just fine. And the way I see the Pac-12 scenario is like this. If you want to look at, take football and basketball and athletics out of the equation, let's stick to strictly entertainment. If you were an entertainment business like the Pac-12, for instance, and you had no way of getting your entertainment out to the people on TV for the foreseeable future, and really you were not even sure of any idea that's even, or I guess you weren't really sure how to go about it. You don't know if any TV deal is going to be close. Like, if I were you, I'm not going to stick around at that company to find out, like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Let's see if we get on TV. And if not, well, I guess I'm out of a job. I got to go do my own thing now. Like, I am going to get the heck out of there. That is what USC, UCLA were way on top of. And now Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Arizona State, and Utah saw this summer as well, even though they probably tried to get out before as well. But that's just the way that I see it. It is a business at the end of the day, and the Pac-12 right now is just not running a very successful business. It is not working out in their favor. Now, with all that being said, we are going to bring the whiteboard back out here to just remind you the Pac-12 may very well not end up being a thing in the near future. However, there are still options for these four teams. Again, the American Athletic has open doors. The Mountain West has some open doors, and maybe even if they want to go compete in an independent realm for some time, like what Notre Dame has done pretty much forever, even though that could end up changing. Who knows what happens with that and all the rest of the independent teams. But honestly, guys, with conference realignment, while it has been predictable as of late, with what happens with these four teams right here is up to anyone's guess and anyone's judgment. I'm going to be very curious to see what happens with conference realignment moving forward. Again, if you want kind of my official prediction, my take on things, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I think these four teams and these 14 teams, while it may not be an 18-team super conference, I do think that those schools will be joining in some capacity at some point. Maybe not in the near future, but at least before next season. So that's just the way that I see it playing out. I know there are a lot of different things floating around out there, and to be honest with you, I have not gotten a lot of super deep, in-depth information besides what I have just told you guys and doing a little bit of research before I sat down and recorded this video. So it'll be very interesting to see. If you guys have any more information, any more intel, leave it in the comment section down below. I will be happy to read, reply, and look through all that, because I find all this very, very fascinating. And again, I will reiterate the topic that college football is not dying. College football is not going away. College football is going to exist long after my lifetime and many of yours as well. But the sport is changing. The landscape is changing, and it's not just college football. I think that's what people gravitate towards, especially because it is only that many days around the corner. But basketball is going to be affected by this as well, and there's a lot of mid-major conference realignment that I won't even talk about just because I don't have the necessary space and or logos to talk about it. But there is a lot of change in the college landscape. There's a lot of change in the NCAA world right now with college athletics, talking about the transfer portal and NIL and all that is a whole other can of worms that I'm not going to touch in this video. But I just wanted to give you guys a recap on what had gone on in college football, give you my sort of opinion and take about it, where I think things are going, and just to reassure the fact that, guys, even though the landscape is changing, college football is going to be fine. So we're going to put the board back here. and we'll get it set up for week 0. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, you only got this many days left until college football is back. Make sure you guys still tune in to my channel to find out everything that is happening in the college football world. Stay up to date, get my opinions, get my predictions, where I think the season is going to go, everything like that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do anything you can to help support the channel. And hey, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video. We're going to start week 0 predictions on Monday. We'll also give you my top 25 on Monday as well, heading into week 0. I will see all you guys then. Goodbye.